Good morning, ladies. I have on my exercise shirt with my little exercise top, and you can see I've got a belly on me that I've got to do something about, and I got some meat back here that I need to do something about. I'm 61. Through the age of 40, I was an athlete. That's me at 40, 11.4 body fat. At the time, I was using the Body for Life book, doing the fitness system, and it worked out great, but I wasn't disabled. And I was slender to begin with. Okay, so let's be honest. I was super, super skinny my whole life, like my dad. Didn't have an appetite, and when I did have an appetite, never gained weight. My mom would get mad at me, my Italian mother, because I wouldn't gain weight. She'd grab me and squeeze me right here, say, sit down and eat, you little bitch, you need to eat. And my mother was being affectionate, but she didn't know what to do because, you know, she's Italian, and my mom had meat on her, and here was me. So when I did the Body for Life, I was actually trying to build muscle mass and build a shape and build a butt. I didn't have hips until I had my first baby at 24. That's the way it was. But, so now I'm 60. I'm 2 heart surgeries later. An embolism to my left eye, which is a stroke. 3 mini strokes. I've got chronic fatigue syndrome, not fibromyalgia, oh my God, my brain is going. ME, myalgia encephalomyelitis chronic fatigue syndrome, which means now I have to be very careful. You know, they always say you can't exercise with that illness. The truth is I worked with Dr. Nancy Klimas in Miami, trying to get this stupid thing open, put the photos back in. And I had a VO2 max test done, and which is complicated and besides the fact, but it taught me exactly how many minutes at what heart rate before I triggered the anaerobic. So I've got like a little finger pulse ox, you know, to keep track of things. I used to have tons of cardio belts with watches when I exercised, but I'm past having to maintain it that carefully. And the truth is the heart ring in my heart often didn't work with a lot of those belts. It threw the signals off. So when I went into severe disability, which was, the decline started in 2004. My daughter was born in 2001. I knew by 2003 something was wrong. And so she was born in 2001, 2003, I knew something was seriously wrong because I was weight training and there were all kinds of problems. Sorry, sometimes when I exercise, which I exercised this morning for 10 minutes on the elliptical, I get this mucus in my chest, which is an asthmatic reaction, but it's okay. I'm sorry, you guys. So I got some testing done in 2004. They couldn't find anything. Got some testing done in 2006, and they said my heart was failing. The doctors had misdiagnosed me, had the open heart surgery, then the ME/CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome, took off, and I had postural orthostatic tachycardia, myofascial pain syndrome, natural killer cell dysfunction. Just went on and on with all these diagnoses until had a second heart surgery, had a stroke first with blinding, semi-blinding the left eye, had the second heart surgery in Rome. And then somebody diagnosed me with common variable immune deficiency. So, bottom line is it's a very tall order. And if you cross the line, you relapse and can become bedbound. But I've learned how to manage and get around it. And I'm doing a lot of treatments now. So in the years of 2006 to 2010 was a steady decline. In 2011, I got some proper diagnoses for the ME, and it wasn't until I think it was 2014 I started doing exercise programs for disabled homebound people, because being an athlete, having been under the direction of Dr. Nancy Klimas and understanding her protocol for exercising in a very limited capacity for ME/CFS, I became this international expert that very few people can rise to a stable level coming out of that type of crisis, and I am one of them. But since many of us could not stand up, I had to find a way for them to build their thighs and their legs while laying down. So make fun of it all you want, the Suzanne Somers Thigh Master program. But let me tell you, it is what I used with disabled people online for years. She's got two of them. One is for the inner thigh, one is for the outer thigh. I am going to tell you, these babies work. It's kind of funny. When you start using them, you actually see, it's kind of terrible, but you kind of, depending on how fat your legs are and full of cellulite, which I'm full of cellulite, that's a family thing. You start seeing the cellulite just like, it drops off. And what you have underneath is kind of like flabby. It was flabby and firm with the cellulite, but then you lose the cellulite, so now you're flabby and loose, but you got to keep going, and then you'll rebuild the muscle, and the skin is whatever it is, depending upon how much weight you have. But I was able to do this program with I don't know how many people laying down that had back injuries, had heart issues, and they always would control it. So I myself love the THIGHMASTER. Love it. Now, I haven't been using it in a couple of years because I just had a prophylactic double mastectomy, and this past year I've had 2 surgeries prophylactically because my family is full of breast cancer. I don't have breast cancer. But now I had to be very careful at keeping my heart rate extremely low post-mastectomy so that the implants, he said that because there's no breast tissue, that the pockets wouldn't get sweaty and my heart rate wouldn't get up and some kind of bacteria get in there. I can't remember exactly the story from the surgeon, but he didn't want me exercising because he wanted my heart rate really low. Well, now there's no more excuse. I mean, sure, I got to have 1 or 2 more surgeries, but I'm putting those babies off for reconstruction. So I am now going to start. So that's when I have this channel, which is Travel from the Inside Out. A lot of people, they go, oh, she's 61. She lived in Italy for 15 years. She raised her kids. She's a world traveler, dual citizen, bilingual. You know, everything's peaches and cream for her. No, I'm disabled. Multiple heart surgeries. I do an immune thing where I put 6 needles in one thigh with a pump for 2.5 hours, and I put other people's antibodies into my body every week. And I've got tons more illnesses, but I've kind of learned how to manage them, and, you know, I know how to pace myself, because if I don't pace myself, I go down for the count. Anyway, I am leaving in May to go with a group of women, very special women, to Italy, to bring them to my village to experience my life over there. And it's time for me to get my big fat butt melted and my thighs. So I don't have huge expectations. I'm about, right now, I was 165. I'm probably around 163. My weight fluctuates. In a couple of days, I could have it at 161, but I can't budge that last 10 to 12 pounds to get me down to 150, which is where I would like to be. I am 5'8", just a sliver under 5'8" in terms of shrinking. And I'm going to do it. So I've now got, I figured there's 2 weeks in February, 4 in April, 4 in March, and 3 in April. So I've got 3, 4, 5, plus 4. I've got 9, about 9 weeks to pull this off. And I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. So if you want to follow me on the journey, that is part of the transformation, travel from the inside out. Excuse me. Whether it's, you know, in my private groups, I've showed the women that I had recently gotten lasered because I had some spots I wanted off and some other things. So whether I teach you about the lasering or teach you about embracing gray hair, which my hair has a lot of white and gray, but I go in and I put gray streaks in my hair. So my hair appears much more gray than it really is, because I was sick and tired of streaking it blonde and having the blonde conflict with the white. So I said, the hell with it, just start streaking it white. And so ever since I've embraced putting more white in my hair as a highlighter, I love it. I work with trying to find cuter outfits and things that we can do to get ourselves noticed instead of being invisible. It's not that we need attention, but what I'm hearing from the American women is that they feel very invisible in the society, like people just don't invest in older people, which unfortunately, now that I've been here a year and a half, I have to agree with them. I make sure that I get seen, so it's not a problem for me. But what is a problem is I'm trying to find even friends that are in my age group that are active. And I can find younger people that I match with, but that's not what I want. I'd like to find people 10 under, 10 older. I'm willing to do that 20-year swing. And it is kind of hard. So you've got to work on building the character within you, building whatever is your own attributes. I do tons of different things here, whether it be like these affirmation cards, or I have it up there. It's going to be hard to show you without you seeing my terrible wall. Up there, right there, is my vision board. And I myself practice what I preach, and I'm now at the moment where I'm going to be embracing exercise. And by me confessing it here on this video, I've got to do it. So I also want to deal with this, chicken wings. I've got an elliptical in my kitchen, so you're going to see maybe videos periodically of me getting on the elliptical. I may do some videos of the THIGHMASTERS stuff, the inner and the outer. I've also got small hand weights. If you're going to do any of this, I ask that you please go to your doctor, get your doctor's buy-in, find out that your doctor says it's okay. Because obviously I am not a doctor. I am not a physical trainer. I am a travel coach. I know what's good for me, and I know what I've done to help people who are disabled, but I make them go to their doctors. And then over time, yeah, this was the last time I was doing this. Let me just look here. Wow, my expectation then was to hit 148. I'm optimistic. No, my goal was to hit 140, and I was 148 in this little thing that I put here. God help me, I'm 20 pounds over. This has to be very, very old. But what I do is I will make a new sheet that has the different categories and the charts. The truth is, in my kitchen, just to make my life easier, I went to the Container Store and I bought this calendar. It's gridded with 5 weeks, so it's got 7 times 5. Yeah, 5 rows, 7 days, so up to 35 days in a month. So it can start, you know, and you just go in and write what month it is. You write in the number with those certain kind of pens that write on this black glass. And I have it in the kitchen above my elliptical machine. So that, yeah, this has to be a very old one. This probably came out because I found it in this book. I'd only dreamed to be 148 pounds, God help me. I go over to the machine behind it with it on the wall, and I just write in that I completed the minutes. My goals right now are 4 times a week, 10 minutes. Not very much on the elliptical. I'm at very high altitude in Denver, 1 mile high above sea level. And for the last 15 to 18 years, I've been at sea level. So, plus I've got multiple cardiac surgeries under my belt. So I've decided to set myself up with a number I could do. I got on the elliptical today. I did 10 minutes. It was set at a level 6. And as I went forward, I thought, oh, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Brought it down to 5, brought it down to 4, brought it down to 3, brought it down to 2. So today, even though I started out at a difficulty level of 6, with the hope of doing 10 minutes. By the time I hit 10 minutes, which I did hit 10 minutes, I was down to 2. So I am going to give myself, you know, and I should probably make a card. Let me see if I got any free cards in here. Yeah, I do. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself a grace card, and that was my mother's name. Okay, so All right. And look, when I see it, I see the word my mother's name. I don't see the word grace, but I'm giving myself a grace card. What that means is, and this is a problem for me. It's probably not a problem for you guys, because I am an ex-athlete. Because since the day I become disabled, which was about 17 years ago, I have lusted to go back to the gym. I mean, lusted to go back to the gym and weight lift. And I finally realized it's never going to happen. It's 17 years later. I have to be careful because the lust for this fantasy that has never stopped goes off in my mind. And if I try to compete with this fantasy, I could get myself in trouble. So this is my grace card to say, Francesca, 10 minutes, even at level 2, is okay. You've got permission. It's totally okay. And the fact, what I've also decided to do, which came to me just today, is in the last minute that I was doing the elliptical, I took my camera and I shot it. So it's going to say what was the distance or the calories or the minutes. It's going to document it. And I'm going to be able to upload those photos. I have numerous groups, but I have 2 groups in particular. One is private, and it's tough to get into it because I have to see that you're really a match, because I don't want voyeurism of people who don't belong in that group. There's about 750 women. And then my other group is open in public, and I'm not anywhere as active in that group, but I am present in that group. And so it's called Senior Women Travel Club, is the open group that's really easy to get into. Unless you are competitive, being a coach or a travel person, then we're not going to let you in. Start your own group. And then the Travel from the Inside Out - Italy and Europe is a far more intimate group, often making videos in my pajamas. I talk about everything. And the women have started to get to know each other in that group. But I don't let everybody into that group because it's really an intimate view into my life. And I don't know if that's normal in the United States or not. The truth is, once you've been disabled, you really don't give a rat's ass. You know, I don't have to impress anybody. I'm just trying to survive and get by and move forward and all that. And what I found is I have a pretty damn exciting life, even disabled, and even with all the complications, that my life is probably more exciting than most American women. And so the gift that I can give to American women is to assist you in making that transformation, that change, you know, finding out what is the right change for you. Okay, ladies. Ciao tutti.